Okay, so this is a fresh emulator. So I just installed this. So I don't have anything in my timeline. By the way, first thing that I would like to do, so I started with a Virgin device. It's like user first time installing the app ever, right? So what would be nice to do is to tell user to go to set the preferences, because they wouldn't know. Okay, so let's just do that minor change. So since timeline is our initial starting point, right? What I could do is in timeline activity, I could check if we have the and keep in mind that we are in here. We got the Yamba thing. I could actually check if preferences have been set, right? So I could say something like if Yamba dot prefs dot get string, for example, and then I can look up for example username. Was it username, right? String. Huh? So in other words, I'm checking. So we have Yamba here because we are a subclass of base activity, right? So I can say if Yamba preference gets string, and then I'm saying let's get username, and if not found, return null. And if it is indeed returning null, that tells me that we don't have preferences set. So then I could simply say start activity. So we bounce the user from to basically to prefs activity class, right? And I say return, because I don't want to do all the other work in case so started activity for new intent, sorry, new intent, and then for this, right? Okay, organize imports to import intent. So this is going to bounce us to that. Import intent, please. Okay, why is it not importing the intent? Import intent. Okay, well, hold on 1 second, something is messed up here. Okay. So why is it syntax intent cannot be resolved? Huh?
Parentheses.
Where? It doesn't make sense. Intent cannot be resolved. Oh, hold on. Anyway, now it works. Okay, nothing. It was just. Yeah, but I mean I did import it. So anyway, it's just out of sync. So. So basically, I'm checking if the preference exists. If it doesn't, I just bounce to that. So let's test that that little thing, that little feature. So again, first time installed the app. You know, let's see, bam. See, first time it gets me up to user, and I could do a nice little. I could even do toast dot make text this, and then I'll make up some text. And then duration could be toast dot long dot show. Let's see how that works. And then for text, I'm gonna need to put in strings. So I'm gonna create a new message, just like all the other messages I created. So string name equals msg create setup prefs. Please enter your user name, password, and server to use. Something like that, right? So now if I say refer to r.string.message setup prefs, bam, format this to look nice, run it, and so let me see. Yeah, hold on 1 second. So let's see. Please enter your username, password. Bam. Okay. So how did I get this? Oh, I restarted my emulator, and when I restarted it, there's an option to wipe user data. So that's kind of like wiped all the user data, started from scratch. That's kind of, I did that, and so that's one that So that's one thing that I did. Second thing that I did is you could uninstall the app. But let me try this again. So learning Android. Password is PASS2010. And server is http://learning.
So when I wiped it, right, I had enough of all those values. So it was crashing because I had nothing for the server address.
But where was it crashing? So that's so basically you started a service, so you can track that crash. Okay, so service should not be able to start if it's not set up. We'll test that. Okay, so now here's a problem. Let me see a blank screen, right? Why is it blank screen? Menu timeline. Let's see. Do we actually have data? So if I do ADB logcat, it looks like it did get the data. If I actually go to ADB shell, data com Marakana Yamba databases SQLite 3*.dump. Bam, data's there. There's nothing here. What is going on? But if I restart it, it's going to be fine. Check this out. So if I restart it,
because the first time we just went to the preference, and now we come back, we didn't really know it.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, it's not restarting because it says nothing changed. Well, I get to, just do a new line so that I actually change the code so it rebuilds it and actually restarts it. That's one way to do it. Okay, so there it is, boom, right? So why didn't it work first time and now works? And it's like you said, it's because we did not. Let's take a look at our timeline activity. Where do we load up what do we load up the data? In what method? Right. And how many times does, so we do it in onCreate, and how many times does onCreate happen? Once and only once. So let's look at this, what happened. So first time around, activity never existed. In onCreate happened, and we said, oh yeah, but bounce to some other activity to set up stuff, right? From that point on, it's like as if onCreate already happened. So it was our timeline went to running, stop, and it was paused now, right? So when we got back from here and we said restart it, we basically, when we restarted, it caused this to go back this way. That's why it was empty, right? So so basically the solution to this is just to re-engineer this a little bit. What we should do is, if we want, we could basically have the adapter and all this stuff set up here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this code that checks, right? I'm gonna move it down so that we do it toward the end when everything is set up. So in case we come back to the original one, right? Now I could move the creation of adapter and all that stuff to which method? On start or on restart, right? So because we would ideally, let's assume that we want to refresh every single time we're going back in here. We want to refresh, right? But what we could do is, as opposed to doing that, I could implement the on refresh. So I would go override implement methods, and then in activity I would say on resume, right? Oops, why is it doing all that? No, I don't want all of them. It's crazy.
Just disable the add flags and it resolve my issues.
Well, I'm sorry?
I disabled the true line add flags. Remember when you start activity, you added the true add flags, right? I disabled that true line and then you go black.
But then you have multiple screens, right?
Yeah, but resolve that issue.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. I mean, yeah, sure, we'll take a look at that in a second. Okay, so in on-resume, what I would like to do is I would simply like to refresh my cursor, right? In case there's something new. So as we keep coming back to this, we could actually have the cursor be refreshed. So here's how you do it. There's something called cursor.requery. And what that does is basically refreshes the cursor, the data. Refreshes the cursor for any new data. So because your activity from now on, once it's started, so once our timeline is started, it may go back and do this many times, right? So as opposed to checking the data here, which only happens once, I'm going to check the data on resume. Okay, that's another way to do it. So now if I rerun this, that should work. Let's check. Bam, so that seems to work. I can go to timeline, so it doesn't start a new one. I can go status update. I can go menu, timeline, brings the original one back, goes to the, actually that goes to the home page. Anyway, so that's that is those are that, and I changed the icon, by the way, for my Yamba application, so there it is. Okay, so that's my new Yamba application icon. Right? I just did a Google search and
anything with the name icon is accessible, because rename yours to an icon, or just drop it.
So icon depends on whatever manifest file points to.
Oh, okay.
So in the manifest file it says what application looks like. And then there are icons defined in your three drawables. So there's icon, icon, icon. So if you want, you can change these three, or you can just define one and so on. Okay. So now, since we're sort of at a logical breakpoint, I want to kind of show you what it would take to publish this app. Right? I want to put it on the market. Right? So just for fun. So I'm gonna go. This is where I found the icons. So I'm gonna go to so market.android.com, right? Yeah, I do have it. So you sign up for a developer account. It's like $25, and there's my Yamba application. I currently have it, right? It's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna revise it.
I like your price for the hello.
Yeah, I was just kind of showing that.
Really good at the suite. So what if somebody actually bought it? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
you can charge whatever you want. So I guess I can publish it, right? But they now changed there's some things that they changed on the market, so that you actually have to upload a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So here, if I try to upload a new file, so choose a file. So I'm going to go to my bin directory.
But this won't work, right? Because you still have to sign it.
Yeah. So if
They're
I
not gonna let you do it.
exactly. So if I go and upload it, that fails. Market does not accept APK signed with a debug certificate. So far what we've been doing is we've been signing everything with what's called a debug key, right? So that's why, you remember I mentioned that that's sort of in the development, everything gets signed automatically by the debug key. So if I wanted to sign it with a real key, I would go into Eclipse, right? I'm gonna go, so let me close a couple of these things. I would go Yamba, right click, Android Tools, and then I would say Export Signed Application Package. So project, Yamba. Instead, it asks me if I want to use a existing key store or download a new one, and I think I want to use the. I think I have a. Let me see where my. Hold on a second. Existing key store, a new one. I have a key store, and where do I keep it? It's in .android, right? It's in home. Oops, home. .android, and there's, I think it's Marakana key store. Okay. Let me see what the password is. Try something like that. Okay. Use existing key and the password for that, right? Or you can create a new key, right? But you get to create your own key in a key store. Okay. Destination APK. So I'm gonna put it into the Yamba package, into bin, and I'll just say Yamba -signed.
What is the password for our student or key store?
You don't. What do you mean?
Your own package.
No, it says it this time. So it looks like it had a passcode or something.
If try password, but I don't think that there's a key. So you get to create your own key. So now I have created a new key. So I'm going to choose another file. So I'm going to choose that file signed. Click on upload. Okay, and let's see. Oh, okay. Look, so this is what's happens. So now it checks my version number and says, whoa, the new APK's version is 1 and Android must be higher than the old APK version, which was 2. So I can't, so I'm updating an existing one, right? I can't have that version number anymore. So I gotta go into my manifest and I gotta change this version number right here to at least 3. Now this here is not that important. This can be anything you want, right? I'll still call it version 1.0, right? But this matters. Okay. Alright, so we're now changed that. Repeat this process. Android Tools, Export Signed Application Package, Yamba, use existing key, enter my key code, existing key, enter my key code, password. Destination, I'm going to use the same destination, which is Marakana Yamba signed. Bam, export it. Go here, choose the file. Bam, bam, upload. Okay, bam. So that it uploaded a new version 3. Okay, it figured out that this APK requires 2 permissions. You can see which ones: internet and write external storage. It figured out that it requires 1 feature for touchscreen. Okay.
So you said that when you get it for production, it does the compressing and all that stuff. So it's basically when it gets to the market, it's very secure and it cannot be tampered with by anyone.
Yeah, when it's in the market, yeah. Yeah. So now what it's asking me for is the so screenshot 0 of at least 2. So I must provide 2 screenshots. So how do you get a
0 or at least 2?
Oh, 0 or at least 2. Okay, let's go with 0. High resolution. So I think this is now required. I must provide. Well, let's see if that's going to let me. So title Yamba, yet another microblogging application is an educational app demonstrating how to use various features of Android. Recent changes, updated the JTweather library. because remember the old library is actually broken, so that was the one. Somebody reported that as an error as well. Application type. Type of the application, it's an application. Category social. I guess, is there education? No, there's demo or something. Price free, I can set the price if I want. Copy protection. Content is all. Okay. All locations, my phone number, contact information, publish. Let's see. Okay. So high resolution application icon, this is new. This field is required. So now I need a 512 by 512. Now I don't know how I'm gonna get that. I do have a image here, but it's only 128. So I'm gonna try to open it with this. I'm gonna try to scale it.
So why do they need a 512?
I'm not sure.
Most likely it's probably for their own advertising reasons, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna say save as source y 512. 512. So now I have it. Choose file. So I'm gonna choose that file that I just quickly uploaded. Anyway, I'll just go with that for now. I don't really care. Publish. Okay. Wow, 131 installations. So now that's published, right? So now if you go and into your market, okay, you should be able to find it on your device, right?
I love the fact that they publish it right away versus Apple that has to sit there for
Yeah. So if I go, let me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enable my settings, so my debugging, so you guys can actually see my phone. Oops. So development USB debugging. So I'm gonna enable it. Okay. I'm gonna connect my physical phone. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to market. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to DDMS to show you that on the market, if I search for it, there's my app, right? I can click on it, and that looks like this now. So it says Yamba is yet another microblogging app, blah blah blah, recent changes, right? And you can't see because the window is too big, but it says at the bottom update or uninstall. I'm gonna click on update, and this is the warning. This application will replace the currently installed application. Existing user data will be saved. However, remember how we did a poor man's job of updating the database? So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to probably blow away the database because actually it doesn't check the version numbers. Now here's where it's asking. It says this application accesses the following: storage and in network. So this is how it's telling you as a user, are you okay with this? And it's a binary yes or no. So if you do not allow it, then it's just not going to be able to go ahead with that. So I'm going to click OK, and this is where it's actually refreshing, and it's being downloaded. At some point, it's downloaded, and let's see. I'll let you know when it's actually downloaded. Second. So at this point, let me. So it says that it's successfully, it says down there, it's successfully installed. And if I now open it, hold on, I'm gonna go open it, refresh. So that's my screen. There's my Yamba app. I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna refresh. See, this time I already had I had some data from before, and that's why it didn't go to my preferences. because I did an update as opposed to, you know, whatever. But probably what I have is not even, it's from the old version, so I don't even know if, yeah, you know, I wasn't really concerned about keeping other people's data to secure. But at the bottom there's now the menu, but you can't see it. You know, let me flip it like this so you can actually see it. Let's see what happens. My phone got stuck. So let me do it like this. Okay, so there's the application. Rotate there. There, you can now see it. So menu, and so if I do menu, you can see that rotate. There's a menu. All that stuff is there. I'm gonna say preferences. So refresh. There's preferences, right? And I'm gonna quickly update my user. So learning Android, password is probably okay. What's missing is the server, right? So the server information is missing. So I'm gonna set it up. So a server is HTTP. So HTTP colon slash learning Android dot status dot net slash API. Done, right? So that's what it is now. Oops, no, don't save it. Rotate it. So that's what that is. I save it. I go back. I click on menu and start service. Rotate. So now, presumably, you know, presumably we found the data, but this doesn't get updated automatically. Okay, so we need to we're gonna need to figure that out. Okay, what's going on with that? So we'll look into that next. Okay, that's where broadcast receivers are gonna come in handy. But so far, does that make sense? How to publish an application to the market? Right. So so any questions, comments? Okay. So if I run it here, so does it work in terms of that refresh? So it happens on the home page and all that, on the main page, timeline activity. Notice this. Did anybody notice that? So when I'm scrolling, what happens to my background? What's that? It disappears. Why is that? So this is an attempt to kind of optimize the UI. So basically, while I'm doing this, it actually resets the background to just a solid color to make it redraw faster. Okay, and there's a way to tell it not to, but this is the default behavior.
Yeah, there would be some serious computation to keep splitting the background with the current things if it's the transparency.
Exactly. So basically, to disable that, what we need to do is we need to in our timeline layout for our timeline for our list, we need to assign the color for the cache. So let me try this. So basically, what I'm saying, by default, it's gonna try to be smart about how to optimize our colors, and that's the default behavior. If we want to change that, we've got to basically override that. So let me see if this is going to work. See, if you set that cache, now it ignores that and it's actually keeping the background as is. Okay, that's a little feature. And I'll reformat it. So it's a set. So it's Android cache color hint. So far, so good on that. Feel free to download the app from the market and feel free to give it 5 stars. Thank you. 5 stars, and then at some point we're going to charge $200 for it. Of course, that's the maximum. That's why I charge $200 per Hello World. But that I unpublished it. I didn't think it was fair. I think it's 30%, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's about publishing. So let's next look at broadcast receivers. So we published our app. Now we need to do some changes to it.